Warm welcome everyone to today's webinar hosted by Ever. My name is Matthias Persson. I'm VP and CTO for Ever. We're live from our office here in Gothenburg. It's a pretty sunny day, and today's session is going to be about our tech vision, which we call future-proof your business. We have about 45 minutes here together today, and there is an open chat where you can also ask questions. If we have some time at the end, we will cover questions, or we will promise to get back to you on all the questions afterwards. So a few things about today. We're going to go through a little bit of a perspective around what we see in Ever going on in the world right now, and how that's influencing our thinking around what we call 5 strategic imperatives. And these are things which we believe, if they're part of your strategy, if they're on top of your agenda, you're going to have a pretty good chance of success. So lean back, and this is going to be an interesting session, a bit high and low. Going to bring a few solution themes. We have solution themes on all of these, which goes into a bit more detail on our thinking around how you actually do things. And today I brought forward a few of them that we'll go through. But to kick things off, I think the first point here to take note of is that there is a constant threat upon us. I don't think you need to go very far to appreciate what the world is undergoing, and it's from a cybersecurity perspective. It has really evolved, so it's a constant threat. It's a constant exposure, and you're under attack all the time. And this has changed as well. It's become very persistent and dynamic. We're looking at state sponsors attacks, ransomware, AI phishing, and it's really gone from only a small set of people that could do this to a very large population. Anyone can use AI to almost generate malicious code or automate phishing scams and things like that. So a very constant threat that's influencing a very changing world from our perspective. The other thing that we see is, we call it cloud is geopolitical. My background is 25 years in IT. I've worked across many different domains: software development, engineering, infrastructure, management consulting. The past 12, 13 years, I've been devoting a lot of my time to cloud transformation. I've really seen how this type of technology have changed complete businesses around, and the type of services and things you can do is phenomenal. But at the same time, we are now seeing a world which is becoming a little bit more constrained. A lot of this technology comes from the US. We have an administration in the US which is taking some directions, which is prompting a lot more focus on what's my security framework. Things such as digital sovereignty becomes ever so more important. So we're now looking at cloud as both a necessity for scale and innovation, but at the same time, potentially a vulnerability. Generative AI is here and it's now. It's really transforming how work is done. It's to a large extent revolutionizing how we approach things. It's probably a little bit on the hype curve as things are in the beginning, but we see that things will flatten out, and this will become our new era. Personally, I've been through a few eras, gone from like mainframe to distributed. I've seen how we've done how internet came along. I've seen how we've gone from monoliths to microservices. So I've seen quite a number of these shifts and what the hype curve does. But I've actually, in my past, never seen anything as groundbreaking and as revolutionizing as this. So from our perspective, this is really empowering ourselves to do better, to do more, and to be more productive. So it shifts around a lot of things, and we'll come into a bit more about that going through our vision. The last thing just want to call out as far as a change, what we see as a changing world is what we call a digital generation. So the population that are coming out on the market now, but even if you have children, they're digitally born natives, so to say. They have constant access to tools. They expect automation. They expect a seamless digital experience, and this becomes also a talent war, in the sense that the people that you hire, the employees that you bring into your company, they expect this. And if you can't offer this type of digital experience, people are going to go work for someone else. So this is what we see as well as we call the digital generation, expecting things to work in a very seamless way. So at Ever, you probably know Ever a lot from what you may know us from what we do today. We operate a lot of the very mission critical infrastructure in the Nordics. We have a pretty broad portfolio of services, but at the same time, we are looking forward to say what's ahead of us. Where are our clients going, and how does our portfolio need to meet that demand? And we thought, okay, we'll do a study. So we issued a study with our own experiences, talk to our customers and say, what are the things that are important right now? And we're trying to hone this down to 5 areas. And I'm gonna go through them one by one. I'm going to talk a bit about them, what we mean by them, what you should think about, and then touch upon some maybe more specific solution themes within them. So we believe that these are important for our customers, and subsequently also important for us as far as having the right set of capabilities to help you get onto that journey. The 5 areas that we have called out, they all have some pretty cool names, if you may, but you'll see what they're about when we go through them. Embrace the new hybrid, stay safe in a volatile world, connect the ecosystem, leverage data everywhere, and empower the AI-enabled workforce. The first one, embrace the new hybrid. Hybrid is no longer a compromise. It's a strategy of choice. If you go out and ask majority of the CIOs what's your strategy, they will tell you I have a hybrid strategy, a hybrid cloud strategy. An organization that embraces this smartly can strike a very good balance between speed, control, and compliance. There's from our perspective a little bit where we maybe think of an old way of thinking about this and what we think about a new way. The old way, more rigid, less dynamic, more statically coupled, and perhaps somewhat focused on something around on-premises, data center, and a cloud, and the combo, and bursting, and all these things. We bring forward where we say the new hybrid, and we bring some things into that meaning. The word new hybrid, we put into that word the fact that the hybridness of it, it needs to be very much built around advanced networking, automation, and DevOps practices, but also a mix which gives you both control and scale. And you'll see in a minute what I mean by that. More specifically, we talk about the fact that the hybrid setup should have sovereignty built into it, like a European sovereign cloud that's also now emerging as part of this new hybrid. So if you're going to move into this area, you need to think through quite a number of things. You need to engineer this baseline from the start. It can't come as a consequence. You know, if you go out and you've maybe bought yourself or merged with a few companies, you've ended up in a state, and you say, I'm hybrid because I ended up here. That's not hybrid. You need to think it through from the beginning, establish a framework, and work out how you're going to modernize through this. The good part of it, I guess, is that we at Ever have done some of that thinking already. We've been on this journey for the past several years, matured our platform and our ecosystem and our services into a whole, which we call the Ever Hybrid Cloud. This is something which we are increasingly positioning also to our customers and helping them with the best fit model for their IT. And this little picture I have here, next picture, shows a little bit of a busy chart, but it's a conceptual representation of the Ever Hybrid Cloud. What you have here is at the bottom an infrastructural view around the Ever data center, where we host today VMware workload infrastructure. We have an OpenStack, open source, a sovereign cloud option. I talked about earlier. You need to have a sovereign option in your hybrid cloud. We've got that built in here. It runs completely on open source. We have hyperscalers like Microsoft Azure in the hybrid cloud in a few different flavors, and a broader ecosystems of other platform partners that we're collaborating with: AWS, Google Cloud, Cloudflare. Bringing this together as a whole, the necessity of the services layer on top, good combination of agnostic services, things that can work across everything, to specific services where you do best of breed. You pick down and say you do something very specific on one of them. A self-service portal which overlays this from a customer's perspective, not replacing individual portals or APIs of these, but overlaying. So if you're a customer and you have workloads and services in multiple places, gives you a view as to where things are. So this is the perspective that we are. This is how we're architecting our future for Ever and our customers. If you think about this, and what's also as a solution theme, if you may, what we also increasingly focus on is what we call a developer focus with platform engineering. So when you have all of this hybridity, services layer, who's really your consumer? Well, today, one consumer is a developer. Developer has quite a different need. The developers are looking for self-service. They're looking for things that can accelerate them. They rather not put tickets into an IT process system to get something done. They'd rather go in and have a curated set of services and get that provision automatically. So if you think about cloud providers like Azure, AWS, and Cloud, a fairly complex set of, well, not complex, but a very rich set of services, but that doesn't mean that it's automatically available. So infrastructure as code, composite, pipelines, clusters, that can be automatically provisioned. We at Ever believe that this is something organizations should focus on, and we will do so too. that was the first. Strategic imperative of 5. The next one I want to talk a little bit about is called stay safe in a volatile world. Latching on to what I introduced with the constant threat, that this is getting much more sophisticated, and you need to look at how you can minimize this risk exposure, minimize business disruption. This goes more and more in hand also with the resiliency. So we think about security and resiliency, traditional things such as disaster recovery. Where is my data? Is it protected, but is it also restorable? So business continuity and security tends to go more and more hand in hand here. But also compliance with all the new regulation coming in on the NIS 2. How am I going to be ready for that? Big topic, quite a number of different solution areas that underpins this. We see that the zero trust architecture mindset approach is a center of this. And this is, as probably many of you know, an approach, a mindset where you assume breach, you don't trust anyone. The old kind of perimeter where if you get through this zone and this firewall and you're in here, you're trusted. That this is more like whether you're an employee, partner, or customer, we don't trust you. We assume breach, and you need to authenticate at all levels. And we can control that authentication conditionally. We can put a lot of sophistication around threat detection. We shift security all the way to the left. So even if we're doing software development, we do vulnerability scans in the code. So it's a whole setup around this which you need to undertake. And the approach here is you need to look at probably a solid framework. If you have an open group framework or a NIST framework, but you need to start to map in your capabilities around the zero trust architecture. Just as a bit of an example from where we typically find ourselves with many customers is that we have a lot of customers that sit a lot on, for example, Office 365 and have Teams. I guess many customers do, most customers for that matter, and in that environment, the Microsoft technical capabilities for a zero trust implementation serves as a good entry point to start to see how you can enable this. That's not to say that you need that. This shows an overlay from the Microsoft reference architecture. So while there is perhaps a risk, while it perhaps only shows Microsoft tools, there are other options. But in fact, in many cases, it can actually be exactly like this, because these tools are usually there, and what we're seeing as well is that some clients, they have subscriptions on Microsoft where they have access to some of these tools without knowing them. So they turn to us and say, well, can you help us with activating and managing this? So many of the EVER services today take presence in this type of architecture. So we have a managed detect and response service which leverages Microsoft Extender XDR and Sentinel. We use Intune for managing many and some other tools, but we use Intune for client device management. We have landing zones. We offer 365. We use Purview for control. So when you start to put many of these puzzles together, we're coming pretty far in terms of creating a zero trust architecture for our customers. Defender for cloud apps, all click, it latches in, it fetches into Defender. It creates a simplicity around a pretty complex problem. So this is one solution theme of many in this area, of course. We also do zero trust in terms of networking. We work with Cisco and others. So this is not to say that this is the only thing you need to do, but this is a good starting point. Yeah? moving on to the third topic that we have in our tech vision, we call it connect the ecosystem. This is okay. I think this is about really recognizing the importance of networking and connectivity. So I feel that I see, not quite often actually, that at companies, networking is almost like it's a bit patching, you know. I need to fix this network problem over here, I've got a bandwidth problem over here, and I've got some problems over here. What many organizations needs to do is they need to take a little step back and think, where is my strategy? Where am I going? What markets am I going into? Where am I going to be? Where's my customers? Where are my partners? How are they connecting? And build a little bit more of a holistic network architecture, target architecture that takes into this consideration, so that scale is there, such that when the pandemic happens, you know, people can connect from home, that clients can connect. If you're going into the Far East, that people can connect from there, that you can secure connectivity and bandwidth, and then that you can manage this. And there's a lot of newness coming into this area as far as AI and management, which make things a lot more predictive, a lot better managed. So some solution themes here, which touches a bit also into the partners that we at Ever work a lot with, is first of all, it's the whole integrated network fabric. You know, the realization that it's becomes less and less about branching networks, MPLS, maybe appliances. It's more thinking about network as a software solution, not a hardware solution, and how networks are also getting more and more clever. So you get zero trust and firewalls and things built into the network. So with partners like Cisco and Fortinet, we are well equipped to take our customers to a much more modern network setup with cloud managed control plane, SD-WAN, integrated firewalls that can do significantly more than just deny a packet on a particular port. So this for us is also a very, very important strategic imperative that we think should be on the list of the five, so to say. Another solution team which also latches on a bit to our partner Cloudflare is global connectivity, secure connectivity, where you start to think about accelerating users that are connecting from very multiple locations. So securing uptime and low latency worldwide. This is not so much about managing an enterprise LAN or WAN. This is more about how applications and data globally connect. We are one of premier partners of Cloudflare here in the Nordics. They've got some 300 edge points worldwide that you can connect to. So rather than setting up that long VPN connection point to your home, you go to your closest point. You use zero trust inspection, direct optimized path in this optimized network, and you've got a completely different way of addressing quite a complex problem with global connectivity. The fourth imperative that we have outlined is what we call leverage data everywhere. Data is not really a byproduct anymore. It's a critical asset. So, but at the same time, the winners are not the ones who collect the most data. The winners are the ones who get the most value of the data. And I've certainly been through in my career a few of the bigger big data projects where it was all about getting as much data into one place as possible. But the fact is that many of them did not really get the ROI they was looking for. And now this is shifting. It's shifting away from this siloed storage. It's becoming more around having the right data to fuel AI. And if you can do this, if you're able to do this, then you're setting yourselves up for faster decision making, more personalization, and driving informed decisions while maintaining a good privacy. The center of that is a data platform foundation. And what does that actually mean now going into, if you call it, an AI area? I think there's a lot of people that are thinking about this right now. From our perspective, we talk about what we call an AI-ready platform. It's a platform which not only stores data, but it serves models. So you probably know of many of these models from using ChatGPT as one big public model. There are variants, there are various models, but there's also your own models, your custom-built models. So we see that you're going to be increasingly having a portfolio of models for different purposes, and they need to be stored somewhere and managed. And then you need to get the data into it, curated, trusted, and governed data. So the old thing about bad data in, bad data out is still there, but perhaps even more so in the era of AI, because it's so obvious and so damaging, I guess, if you're using AI and the answer is wrong. So we expect this, and there is a technical architecture here around this, which is probably a topic for a whole session by itself. But what I want to come back to is, if you remember what I mentioned about the Eber hybrid cloud and the choices we have, what is very important for us and for our customers is that we have choice. So we want to give choice, and this is an area of data management and AI where choice is also important. Two complementary paths, I suppose, in this area, which I want to call out, is one using Azure and one using OpenStack and Klura. And they give some different perspectives. We don't think one rules out the other. Some people will use both, we believe. Some people will choose one or the other. As with a big one like Azure, I think AWS, Google, they provide similar, but my personal view is maybe that Azure is a bit ahead with the AI Foundry. They're really connecting into everything with Fabric, Databricks, and the model management here, I think, is quite impressive. It's managed and it's enterprise ready. You get the complete environment where you can do your models. They got controls built into it. You saw that whole architecture I saw before. It's all connecting into that with PureView. So if you're using data, you can classify it with PureView. What data can I access and what can I not? So it's quite an accelerated way of adopting this with pre-integrated tooling. On the contrary, of course, it sucks you into that type of architecture, that vendor. There's some level of lock-in there, and there could also be some of these compliance issues around where your data is stored and so forth. Then you have an option of more control, more open source, and more flexibility using open source. So here, you're not selected. You choose what you want to work with. Pick your open source tools like MLflow, Hugging Face, Spark, run it in Kubernetes, containers. You got full data model sovereignty. There's really no lock-in at all. It's highly customizable. It runs on our Klura and OpenStack, and there are these are two paradigms, I guess, in terms of or not two paradigms, but two architecture styles, I guess, that gives you this type of AI platforms. So we've talked about hybrid cloud, we've talked about security, we've talked about connectivity, we've talked about getting your data foundation in place with AI. I have a platform, I can serve models. The last topic that we wanted to call out in terms of the tech vision is we call empower the AI-enabled workforce. So now we're a little bit turning our attention to our employees. Remember when I talked about the digital generation, my kids expecting AI and the young generation, my kids, they rarely ask me any questions anymore. They pick up the phone, they go to ChatGPT, they ask a question, they get an answer. So we need to have this type of feature to our able workers, but we can also bring up productivity. So when you look at AI as your partner, as your assistant, the potential grows quite exponentially. Tools and things you trust to drive, this is certainly the future. At the same time, we're probably at a stage where I think a lot of people will talk to you about how much they know about this and what you should do. I want to be a bit more humble and honest and say, I can't tell you exactly how this is done because very few people have done it at scale yet. We are pioneering this, we are starting this, we are trying to work out where to get the value and where to get the return. Everyone sees it, everyone understands that it's there, but it's still maybe getting piloted a bit. So yeah, but if you're not, our view is certainly this, that if you're not investing in this, if you're not going into this area, I think we believe that your risk being significantly left behind, both from an organization, from a talent attraction perspective. So you could say everyone in the organization should have an AI assistant in whatever role they have. The maybe challenge, if you may, then becomes how do I identify what these high value use cases are where the AI agents can assist. And this is also where this maybe also a little bit hype work AI agents comes in. So this is means a few different things. There are frameworks and things for how to build AI agents, but in essence, an AI agent is something which is built for a particular purpose. So if you think about something like a big model like ChatGPT, you go in, it's quite generic. It's there to answer any kind of needs. I'm for example, if I'm doing my work as an architect, or if I'm doing my work as a financial analyst, or if I'm doing my work in marketing, I have some different needs. I've got some different tasks at work. So I want to have an agent which is tailored a bit to that and also uses the data in my organization which I need for that. So in Ever, for example, we have agents that are tailored to help our support agents when they fix problems. They look into our knowledge repository and bring out how was this problem solved in the past. How can I give suggestions? That's a very tailored towards a technician. Me as maybe working more in architecture, technically, I want to know what kind of solutions have I proposed for clients in the past, and how did I do that, and what was said and what wasn't said, and tap into that whole experience. But I also want to bring in the latest and greatest from the field as far as what the latest is, and bringing that together in AI agents. It's quite straightforward. Bring context awareness and dynamics into it, and Copilot, as many of you have probably seen and maybe already started working with is one way of kind of fronting that we in Ever are working with our customers. Another just maybe solution theme that touches into this, but a bit more tailored, is what I call AI-powered development. So I think it was, maybe I shouldn't quote the company, but there was a CEO of a very large technology company which said 30-40% of the code we write today is done by AI. I've certainly used it quite a lot myself to do various scripts and things, and it's extremely straightforward. It's a completely new way of coding, and you have a coding partner next to you, which helps you with all. You can really focus in a lot on the logic, and you don't need to remember everything. The days when you need to know how you need to know a programming language with every syntax, and you compile and I forgot this or I forgot that. Here it's just like, I have a compilation error. What's the problem? Okay, here's the problem. I fix it. So this is with the likes of Copilot Studio. The days of manual coding, heavy reliance on documentation, scrolling through Stack Overflow to find who else had this problem and what the solution is. Those days are gone. We're getting this integrated into the IDEs. We got AI-driven pipelines, automated code reviews. So you're really driving higher value engineering. And this is, I guess, an example of a use case of AI towards technicians and developers and so forth. But it just shows some of the scale and breadth of what this can do. Okay, so that takes us to the end actually of our Tech Vision themes. Maybe summarizing quickly then the 5 themes that I spoke about. I spoke about embrace the new hybrid. You saw a little bit about our thought process around the hybrid cloud, the Ever hybrid cloud, how we are bringing sovereignty into that with an open source Klura and bringing a seamless experience around that, and how we are helping our clients with choice and flexibility to use the best of both sovereign control, compliance, resident in Sweden, together with public hyperscalers like Azure, AWS, Google. We talked about cybersecurity. We talked a bit about zero trust, showed a little bit about how you can use the Microsoft framework, cybersecurity framework to navigate that. We spoke about connectivity, the importance to have a bigger vision around what's your architecture going to be. I mentioned a little bit about our partners, Cisco, Fortinet, Cloudflare, how they bring a whole in making this possible. We spoke about data and the foundation. We talked a bit about choices here also. Should I go build my data platform on a public hyperscaler like Azure, or should I go for a more sovereign open source option such as Klura? Choices there. And finally, we spoke a bit about some examples about how you can enable the individual, the employee, the workforce with AI tools such as Copilot and Copilot Studio. So yeah, we have a few minutes left. I don't know if there's been any questions coming through the chat.
Sovereign cloud sounds great, but what if SaaS services like Office 365, where most of my personal data resides, how can I create a sovereign solution for that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Just let me repeat that because I don't think everyone heard here. The question is around sovereign cloud and how all that sounds great, but I'm all stuck into Office 365 and using that. That can't be moved to sovereign cloud. And what's your thinking? And I think this is a very good question, by the way. And now I think there are options. We are the moment working with something called Nextcloud to bring Nextcloud as an open source alternative to Office 365 that you can run on Klura OpenStack. So there are options to bring collaborations elsewhere than Office 365. But of course, the choices and how you make that choice can depend on quite a number of factors. And we do have a particular package in EVA called a Plan B. And a Plan B is a piece of work which we do for clients to help them navigate some of these choices, where we look at what they have today, where the data is resident, the risk that they're exposed to, and what option they have in terms of moving that to somewhere else in the event that they either want to do it now or need to do it in the future. And we look at ourselves as, and I actually think we are quite unique in that we offer this complete hybridity and can offer choice to let clients run both on something like Office 365 or Nextcloud. Yes. Yeah, we have time for one more question.
We have started with Copilot, but find it hard to evaluate its effectiveness and whether it's worth the additional cost. Do you have any idea on how to move forward?
So the question is around starting activating Copilot, activating those licenses, and taking up that cost, and how you start to evaluate the effectiveness of it. I think that's also a good question. I think, in fact, that's where many customers are struggling a little bit today in what metrics should I cover. So here we have an adoption program in EVA that we can offer, where we go in and help set up some of these metrics, and it starts with a little workshop. We look at the use cases, and then we measure things such as for a particular use case, we say, how much have you saved, what additional quality are you getting. But you need to, the common way is that you just activate it and then you send it out there and you expect every productivity to just go up. I think you need to put a bit more thought into it. You need to champion it, and you need to have people in your organization that help. The whole area about prompting is as much as it's interesting, it's complex, because I think most of you who've used generative AI knows that the ones that are best at it, they're also the ones that are the best prompters. So learning your organization how to prompt, what prompts should I use, is all part of a culture building and an education that you need to undertake. Okay, well, I think that takes us to the end. I want to thank you for listening in to this live session from Gothenburg, or if you've listened to the recording, thank you as well. If there are any questions, we will. The other questions have come in. We will answer them to you via email. Thank you very much.